happens when a single economic decision sets off a global storm. When President Donald Trump signed off on a 25% tariff targeting imported vehicles, including electric cars from Canada and Mexico, he thought it was just another move to protect American industry. But the reaction? Immediate, explosive, unforgiving. Mexico hits back. Canada is stunned. And the world? Shocked beyond belief. The Mexican government, long known for diplomatic restraint with Washington, suddenly unleashed a counteroffensive, trade routes under threat, investments on hold, new alliances forming goings that exclude the U.S. Meanwhile, Canada, America's oldest ally, declared that bilateral relations had entered the darkest chapter in modern history. Within days, a fracture tore through North America and the tremors were felt worldwide. Markets trembled, EV prices soared, layoffs began. This isn't just a trade dispute, it's an economic mutiny, a direct challenge to U.S. dominance. While Trump frames it as a patriotic revival, his allies see betrayal and they're striking back with everything they've got. Is this the beginning of a global trade war or the first crack in a collapsing economic empire? In March 2025, Trump imposed a 25% tariff on vehicle imports from Canada and Mexico, sparking immediate global backlash.
Trump said, quote, "I couldn't care less. I hope they raise their prices because if they do, people are going to buy American-made cars. We have plenty." The message is congratulations. If you make your car in the United States, you're going to make money, a lot of money. If you don't, you're probably going to have to come to the United States because if you make your car in the United States, there's no tariff.
He called it a patriotic move to revive American industry, but allies saw it as betrayal. Canada hit back with $155 billion in counter tariffs. Mexican President 𝐞𝐦𝐚𝐢𝐥, outraged, warned of shifting trade toward China and Europe, declaring, "We will not be bullied into submission." Meanwhile, U.S. automakers were caught in the crossfire. Ford and GM, heavily dependent on cross-border supply chains, faced massive disruptions. The shockwave spread fast. The European, Japan, and South Korea condemned the tariffs. France's Macron called it economic warfare. Japan urged immediate de-escalation. Even China hinted at retaliatory tariffs in solidarity. Trump, undeterred, claimed the outrage proved America was finally winning. But beneath the bluster, the global order had started to shake. What began as a tariff policy quickly spiraled into an economic confrontation. Canada froze several bilateral trade deals. Mexico suspended joint infrastructure projects near the U.S. border. Former allies now operated like strategic rivals. Markets across the globe reacted with panic. The Dow Jones plunged 1,200 points in a single day. Automakers slashed production forecasts. Thousands of workers were furloughed first in Detroit, then in Ontario, and soon across the continent. Diplomatic channels grew cold. U.S. allies began coordinating joint retaliation measures. Rumors swirled of a unified tariff bloc against American tech and agriculture exports. The White House insisted this was just the cost of reclaiming economic sovereignty. But for millions watching their jobs, savings, and industries unravel, it felt like the cost of something far worse. And for the first time in decades, whispers of a new economic Cold War echoed across the global stage. Then came the breaking point. A leaked G7 memo revealed that Canada, Mexico, the EU, Japan, and South Korea were in secret talks forming a retaliatory trade alliance specifically to counter the United States. For the first time since World War II, America stood isolated not by force, but by policy. Trump, defiant as ever, addressed the nation. "Let them come," he declared. "America will stand alone if it must." But the silence in financial markets was deafening. Foreign investment froze, credit ratings dipped, and panic quietly seeped into American boardrooms and households alike. This wasn't just backlash. It was a coordinated revolt-economic warfare waged not with missiles, but with markets. And the United States, once the architect of global trade, was now its primary target. In the name of economic revival, Trump had ignited a fire he could no longer contain. Factories went silent, shelves grew emptier. Everyday Americans began asking hard questions not about patriotism, but about survival. Meanwhile, nations once aligned under shared values now fortified themselves against the very country that once led them. The world wasn't decoupling from the US economy, it was bracing to live without it. And as the dust settled, one truth became inescapable. Tariffs had not made America stronger, they had made it lonelier. The question now isn't whether the global order has changed. It's whether America can still find its place in it.